Good evening. You're on the smoking section. My name's Stephen Helfer, and tonight I'm being joined by Laura Montgomery.
Thank you. How are you?
I am just fine, Laura. How are you?
All right. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Laura has had a CCTV program for 15 years, and it's called Don't Tell Me, Don't Tell Me.
Okay, don't tell me.
It's not called
Don't Tell Me.
It's called Let's Talk.
True. Right. Let's talk.
And I have been a guest on it a couple of times, and you've had a lot of city councilors on, right?
Right.
Who is the most recent counselor you've had on?
Oh, wow. I can't even think of the gentleman's name. I can see him just as clearly. He's got children.
It's not Mark McGovern, is it?
No, Mark McGovern, no. He was a fantastic guest as well.
Oh, was he a good guest?
Yes.
Have you had...
Dennis Benzon.
Oh, right, Dennis.
Right,
yeah,
Dennis,
unfortunately, he's no longer counselor.
Oh, okay. I haven't dealt with the...
Yeah, he's going to be opening a blues... not a blues club, but a jazz club here.
Oh, nice. We need that.
We need some jazz, yes.
Yes.
Well, I was just telling Laura how that when I do this program, I always like to use snus.
Right.
Which is are these small packets of tobacco where you don't have to spit, and it kind of relaxes you. It makes you a little less self-conscious. It helps you concentrate.
Okay, because like I was saying, I've never heard of it.
Right.
You know, like what is it, chewing tobacco?
Well, it's similar to chewing tobacco.
Right.
It's what we call, or what is called smokeless tobacco.
Smokeless tobacco. I've never seen it so well prepared as it is in those little packages.
You want to try some?
No.
No, why not?
I just not.
You know, it's hard. People sometimes we get used to things and then we don't want to try things.
Right. That's like year before last, I tried to stop smoking.
Oh dear. But that we don't like that. Not this is Cambridge Citizens for Smokers' Rights.
I found myself at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Walking up River Street to the gas station on
all the way
Memorial
at the end.
Drive. Yeah.
Right.
But I didn't care. I didn't have any cigarettes. I wanted a cigarette.
Sure. Certainly.
And that's what I say. It's not the easiest thing just to stop smoking.
No, it certainly isn't, except, Mark Twain said he did it 1,000 times. It's very easy. He did it 1,000 times.
Wow, I love it. I love that. I've never heard that.
Well, what brand of cigarette do you smoke? Are you a loyal?
Yeah, now I smoke Mavericks, and Maverick is a lower costing cigarette. Yeah. But I still get that same satisfaction of it.
So is it a flavorful cigarette that satisfies you, or would you be smoking another cigarette if cost was not?
It's pretty much just about the same. I used to smoke Marlboros, and it's just a very much lighter sense of a Marlboro.
So it's a lighter smoke. Right. It's a lighter smoke.
It's a very much lighter smoke.
And are they available everywhere, Maverick?
Right, anywhere you can get cigarettes, because now we know that there's a lot of places where surprisingly you can't even buy cigarettes anymore.
Well, Cambridge made a law that a pharmacy can no longer sell cigarettes.
Right, okay. Well, I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
I really thought I could go to Oscars, I believe it's up on River Street.
Yeah.
And I went over there and the lady says, oh, we don't, and I was like, what do you mean you don't have cigarettes?
Because pharmacies always sold cigarettes.
Right, this is crazy. And that's when I began to learn that you really have to now, where they put these smoking bans in places, you really have to be careful and look around and see where you can get a cigarette.
Right. I was just thinking about that the other day because they are trying to reduce the number of places where we can buy cigarettes.
Okay.
And that makes it inconvenient.
Right. And a lot of this when I hear, like, with public housing, you're not supposed to smoke in housing.
Yeah.
The smoking, I believe they're trying to ban that in the parks.
Well, no, as a matter of fact, Mark McGovern, I think, was the counselor who proposed that.
Okay.
But Cambridge Citizens for Smokers' Rights.
Right.
We got a lot of people to go to the public hearings.
And they overrode it.
Well, we respectfully persuaded them not to do it.
Right, because a lot of that, what upsets me is it's like a sense of control.
You mean you like to be able to control your own life?
Right. I think a lot of people would. You know, that's like, say, I just use, for instance, the example that housing tells you your rent has to be paid every month on the first. So wherever you live, you have to pay your rent on the first. But yet, in the evenings, at the end of the day, I can't sit down and have a cigarette in my home.
Yeah.
It's kind of...
Well, it's definitely a matter of control, and you know, we are supposed to be living in a country where we are the citizens,
Right.
are the people who decide how to live. We're not supposed to live according to, I mean, in other words, our government officials are supposed to be our servants. We're not supposed to be them.
Right. And it very much, all I really felt, I've written in my journal about it, it's very much a matter of control to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but there's nothing we can do. You either don't smoke in your apartment or you're evicted.
Right now in public housing.
Right.
But that's not the case in all public housing everywhere in the country, you know.
Okay.
I mean, it is in Cambridge, it is in Boston, and but it's not everywhere in the country. So that is something, again, that Cambridge Citizens for Smokers' Rights is trying to fight against. So that
right, I was going to say, are they trying to rid that? Yeah, because that sounds weird too, having it in one housing authority and not in, or one city and not another.
Well, to a large extent, it's up to the city, some of these rules.
Right.
Now, we have a phone call. Should we take a phone call?
I think
it's
so.
not your sister, is it?
I don't know. Well, if she is, I'm taking that door.
Did you tell her? Did you tell her you're going to be on the show?
No. Oh.
Well, now, sometimes we get crank calls, too.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a crank. You're on, I pressed the wrong thing, yes. Okay. You're on the smoking section.
Hello, Steve. This is Paul.
Paul, do you know my friend Paul Neff?
Probably more by sight. That name sounds familiar. Good evening.
Yes, I think we do know each other by sight.
Right.
Paul, thanks for calling. What's on your mind?
Sure. Well, first of all, I think it's great if someone quits smoking because they want to, because because of contingent health reasons or whatever.
Yes.
That's fine as long as it's their own reasons rather than peer pressure or like propaganda or state pressure.
Well, let me ask Laura a question. Why did you want to quit smoking?
Because as you always see on the side of the cigarettes, it says how enabling it is, how it's not good for you.
Yes.
And which it isn't. And sometimes, I mean, in the winter or when it's really bad, the weather's not right, I get a cold which affects my breathing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I think that smoking has become such a habit.
Right.
That I just smoke anyway.
Well, yes. Well, that's a good point that Paul is making. It's one thing for a person to want to quit smoking, but it's quite another thing to quit smoking simply because there's so much pressure on you. And that's what we're talking about, control.
Yes.
Right. And Steve.
I'm listening.
Also, we have documented the falsifications and exaggerations, which are going to take a while to dispel. Even if we had more means to distribute the data that we've collected.
Well, Laura, I think that's another question that Paul's bringing up. Do you believe that smoking is bad for you as, for example, that it says on the side of the package?
Well, I mean, I paid that mind, but then when I talk to others, and especially when you talk to much older people.
Who smoke.
Who smoke, right. Well, I've been smoking for 50 years. I've been smoking for 40 years.
Right.
And you say, well, it can't be that damn bad.
It seems not.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a bit, none of these things, drinking, smoking, none of these are good habits, but it can't be that bad.
To believe the experts over the past decades, what you would expect is that people our age would have known, like, droves of people that we knew in high school that started smoking young and that are dead now.
Right.
And a lot of them are still around.
They're still around,
and they're smoking like chimneys.
Okay, right.
Or whatever, but they're still around, And finally, I just wanted to say one last thing.
Spit it out.
All right, I'll spit it out. Because I know a lot of people are really dejected today because of the shocking outcome
of
the elections. I always believe in a certain amount of detachment from party politics and who's, like, nominally in charge of the whole United States and things like that, because there are still always things we have to do at the local level.
That's
and
a good point.
True.
You know, who's ever in the office gives us no excuse to fall asleep.
Huh.
That's a good
and
one.
that we've had this regime change, you know, there's always some advantages that you still have or that you even gain, even though you may not like the overall situation. And one is, we have this regime change. Now would be an opportune time to attack the nanny state.
Interesting thoughts.
With our new, end the war on smoking.
Right. Good point, Paul. Thank you very much.
And that's about it.
Thank you,
Have
Paul.
a good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, we're thinking of starting, using the slogan. Well, Paul wants, let's end the war on smoking.
Okay.
Now, what would you like to see the war on smoking ended?
Yes, I mean, but like I was going to say, for myself, as for others, it's not so easy.
Well, what's not to quit smoking?
To quit smoking.
What we're talking
right.
about is
To quit. Okay, I hear what you say. Excuse me. To quit having people to tell us.
Yeah, we would like to have.
I would like to have that stopped. Yes.
And like for example, wouldn't it be nice to be able to have a cigarette in Dunkin' Donuts in the winter?
I'm not so crazy about it inside. I think because I've gotten used to it, and because of crowds.
How do you mean?
Because there may be a lot of people, and some people don't want that around, or there may be children around. But there should be certain coffee shops you should be able to go into. Maybe not particularly Dunkin' Donuts, but maybe a particular place where you can go. You can sit down, have a cup of coffee or tea, and a cigarette.
And what about like for example a bar like the Cantab? I mean, don't you think those men, and it's primarily men who go there, should be able to have a cigarette with their beer inside when it's cold outside?
I think so, yeah.
Well, I mean, these are the things. And do you really think we should still be paying $5.50 tax on a package of cigarettes in Massachusetts?
Not at all. But like I said several times, control is a big word with this.
Right.
With just about anything that goes on in our lives, I really think. Control, government, and it's like our way or no way.
Or the highway.
Highway or no way. Our way, the highway or no way. Right.
So, but when you were a child, did your mom and dad smoke?
They did, but as adults, they would go into the front room and smoke.
Yeah.
Or if we had company, for instance, they wouldn't smoke around the children.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, all the adults smoked around me all the time.
Okay.
And I didn't mind it at all.
Right.
And I'm still here, right?
Right. I've been in that situation where adults are smoking around me. And
when you were a child.
Right, when I was a child as well, and I'm still here.
And did you mind this?
I didn't mind it, It wasn't bothering me.
Well, so I mean, these are the things that, when we say end the war on smoking, this idea that you can't smoke inside, that you have to pay such a high amount on cigarettes, the taxes, and then they're trying to ban it in public parks and things, which fortunately our city councilors have decided not to do.
Not to do that, yes.
All of these things are the war on smokers, and, we think it's a matter of control.
Yes, it is definitely control.
Are you a libertarian?
No. What do you, libertarian? I'm not into those kind of words. I'm just someone who speaks my mind,
And you like freedom.
And I like freedom.
And you're an adult.
Right.
And I guess you're entitled to freedom when you become an adult.
I think so. I think so.
So, you smoke Maverick. How much do they charge you a pack for that?
So Mavericks are like $9.89 a pack. So I spend $10.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, and I smoke a pack of cigarettes a day, which isn't, maybe not a whole pack.
But it's not too much.
Right, but in smoking that pack of cigarettes, I'd rather be doing that than drinking or doing drugs, because it's so much. I see our government, they don't pay mind to the people who are lying out on the street, the junkies, and how these opiates and these things are taking control, and I say taking away people's lives.
I mean those drugs,
Right.
like alcohol can,
right.
and like opioids often
Well, if
do.
they're controlling that so much, why can't they control the alcohol? Why
Why are they so hard on us tobacco people? And we're not lying in the street,
Right.
you know, and our
not
lives
doing-
aren't controlled by.
Right, and we're not out begging people to give out cigarettes. That's well, it's my take. I take it like that's, and I've never seen you do that. You take that as your own personal responsibility.
Yeah.
You want cigarettes, you know you have to have money for them.
Right.
You know, that's something that's upsetting to me too, is people, I'll give you $1 for a cigarette, or every time you see them, or you see a woman like that, and she no longer speaks to me, which I really don't give a damn.
Why is it now? What was she was bumming cigarettes off
Right.
all the time?
And it was like, give me a cigarette.
Yeah.
No, and it was like, no, please, or when I did give her, there was no sign, or I'd say, oh, I only have a couple of, oh, come on, you're lying, you're full of it. So
Right.
I was like, why am I putting, and one thing that's important to me in life is anything that stresses life, I have to take it away.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So it's like, I have to stay away from this person.
Yeah.
I have to avoid this negativity.
Is she still around?
Yeah. But she doesn't speak to me anymore, and that's no big thing. I mean, if she saw me in the street with someone that she knew.
Well, I mean, one of the problems, Laura, is that the cigarettes are so expensive that, you know, a lot of people who are suffering from stress in their lives, or they're suffering from boredom or loneliness, and they want a cigarette, they can't afford one, you know?
Right, right.
Do you think it's possible that if more people smoked, and that we could smoke in more places, you know, it wasn't so restricted, like we could smoke in some coffee shops, in some bars, in some restaurants, do you think it's possible that fewer people would become alcoholic or addicted to the heavy drugs like the opioids?
I think so. I think it would be a calming factor.
And people might be less inclined?
Right. And these people we see on the street, they do have some type of an income. They may take that income more and buy cigarettes. Mm-hmm. You know, they'd be more inclined to buy cigarettes rather than to buy these drugs or to buy this out, because they see the effect on them.
Well, and also because some people say that, you know, arguably cigarettes are not good, but that if you smoke cigarettes or if you smoke tobacco, even if it's not good, it might help you from not doing something much worse.
Right, right.
Now, you know, nowadays a lot of people are taking psychoactive medications like Prozac and Zoloft and all of those things.
Yes, it's very, like I was saying, it's very scary to sit somewhere and see someone nodding, they call it, you know, and
Right.
they're passing out.
And sometimes that's what you see in Dunkin' Donuts
right.
there, right?
And,
In that Dunkin'
and what
Donuts.
gets me, right, is no one's paying these people any mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's what I really say, wow, why isn't the government not paying that mind more than worrying about somebody smoking a cigarette?
Yeah, it seems like if you smoke a cigarette, they'll have a helicopter and a, you know, with the,
Yeah.
with the police officer.
Yeah, they got
in
the
it.
light down on you, you know, put that cigarette out.
Well, you know, Laura, I began smoking, the first cigarette I had in my life was when my sister, who was about, let's see, I was about 5 and she was about 8.
Ah.
And she stole some cigarettes from my parents.
Ooh.
And we went in the bathroom and we started smoking.
Oh, okay.
But we got caught.
That wasn't a happy time.
Well, we didn't, I don't know, it was. But I began really smoking when I was 11.
But I was 14,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a teenage thing. And my girlfriend, a girlfriend of mine, she was very much, I'd say, freer than me.
Yeah,
You
oh
know,
really? A free
she could go-
spirit?
a
She was a
free
free spirit? Yeah.
And she was smoking Newports.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I just dragged at it, and the choking, it scared the hell out of me.
Oh,
So
really?
it was a long time before I picked up another cigarette.
Well, how long? I mean, like 10 years? 10
not
months,
10, maybe
days,
10 months.
hours?
Yeah, 10
What?
months.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and then somebody turned me onto a Marlboro.
Oh, really?
Okay, and then I saw the difference between a menthol cigarette and a non-menthol cigarette.
You don't like menthol cigarettes?
No.
Well, you know, black people tend to like menthol cigarettes.
Right, and see, now that's when I can't, what is that word? That's one of our statics or something they say, oh my goodness, but that's something they always say about society.
Yeah.
They judge people a certain way. You know, when at the same time, I'll see just as many Caucasian people pick up Newports. So
Not
it's always,
that many, really. You think so? So you think it's about even?
yeah. So that really makes me say, why do they use this as a judgment?
Well, it just seems that, no, I mean, it just seems that my impression is, and I think the government statistics, that for some reason, white people don't like menthol as much as black people.
Okay, I
The
mean, I've
statistics.
seen that, and yeah.
Now, you know, menthol cigarettes are just as safe
right,
as other
just as
cigarettes.
others, right.
I mean, menthol is not like something that's bad for you.
No, it's not gonna kill you.
But I never liked menthol cigarettes except when I had a cold. Then I would smoke menthol cigarettes when I
Okay,
was
well,
younger.
I think just because of bad experience when I was very younger.
Oh, I
and
see.
even in my 30s and as I got older, I've tried menthol cigarettes, and nah, that's not me.
I'm not very fond of them.
No, it's just not me.
But
I mean,
if they were all the same price, would you smoke Marlboro Red or Marlboro?
I'd
The
stay with
regular Marlboro Red,
the regular Marlboro Red, the non-mentholated,
and not the hundreds,
not the
Martha.
hundreds. Well, the hundreds, I smoke my cigarettes hundreds because.
You get more for the buck.
Right, and no, and I tend to, like we're talking,
Yeah.
or I light a cigarette, the phone will ring.
Yeah.
I've lit cigarettes, and this happens all the time. I light a cigarette and I'm writing something,
Yeah, right.
and I look back, the cigarette is burnt out.
Oh, I see what you
Okay,
mean.
so that's why too.
Oh, that's why you like Marlboro 100.
No, I buy the Mavericks now, which are much less expensive.
Well, how much less expensive if they're $10?
I know, not very much.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's like, oh well, there's another cigarette burnt up. That's what seems to happen. Cigarettes get burnt up quickly.
So the hundreds are better.
Yeah.
Do they have Maverick 100s?
Yeah.
So you began when you were 14, and you were going to Cambridge Rindge in Latin.
Right.
And did your mom and dad, were they happy with you smoking?
No, not at all.
They didn't like it, huh?
No, and that's why it was kind of when I went up to school, I had a cigarette. Mm-hmm. You know, when I met with my girlfriend the first thing in the morning, I would have a cigarette, and then really quietly before I came home, you want a cigarette?
Oh,
Like,
really?
come on, and we'll walk down this side street. But we gotta walk down here slowly, and we'd share a cigarette.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know.
Sometimes when you share a cigarette, if you smoke it too quickly,
Right?
it will get hot. Have you ever noticed that? You know, it's not good to smoke tobacco too quickly.
Right.
Because you want the tobacco to be cool. So sometimes if I see people like they'll,
Right, it's dangerous.
well, I don't know if it's dangerous, but that it's not as pleasant a smoke. Mm-hmm. And in those days, you could buy cigarettes. I mean, I used to buy cigarettes when I was, when I was 11, I could buy cigarettes.
Wow. So there wasn't any kind of an age restriction?
No.
Wow, and now
I mean, theoretically, I don't think you were allowed to buy cigarettes till you were 18 or 16.
Right, and now I think it's 21?
In Cambridge, it's 21, but not in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay, and
So-
it seems some places you have to have proof.
Oh, right. Yeah, I mean, I was just in Baltimore, and they asked me for an ID to buy cigarettes.
Okay, and it's like, you can't say I'm over 21?
Well, I don't do that because I think what happens is the owner of the store says to everybody, I don't want you, everybody.
Right.
It's like, I don't want you making a decision. I want you, So it's funny because I showed I was in Baltimore, and I needed some smokes. Mm-hmm. And he asked me for an ID, and I showed him my Harvard retiree's ID,
Oh, okay.
which doesn't have my age on it.
Okay, but you presented an ID.
I presented an ID,
Right.
so, it's pretty obvious. I don't know how old you're supposed to be in Baltimore, maybe it's 18 and...
Right, but I understand you're saying that some store owners, I believe for their own peace of mind.
Right, because, they don't want, because a lot of the anti-smoking groups, they'll pay teenagers
Okay.
who look like they're about, the way some of the girls particularly, they look like they're about 25 and they're
Yes.
15.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And they'll go into a store and try to buy cigarettes, and the guy will sell them cigarettes, and then they'll bust the store owner.
Oh, okay, right. Wow.
That's called they like to do sting operations and stuff like that here.
Well, now that the marijuana law has went through, I think that was passed last night.
That's correct, yes.
That's like, what's going to happen now?
Well, I don't know about that. It gets so complicated. I'm not a big fan of marijuana, but I guess people, if they don't, people should. If people do things moderately, like alcohol or marijuana, or it probably. It's just when people, get carried away with it.
Yeah, when they abuse it.
Now, what's your favorite cigarette of the day? Do you have a favorite cigarette of the day?
My Mavericks, I've been smoking my Mavericks.
No, but so you're brand loyal now.
Yes.
But I mean, I have two favorite cigarettes in the day.
Okay.
My first is when I have my coffee in the morning. And a cigarette.
Right.
And my next favorite is probably when I get in bed at night with a book.
Oh, okay. Yeah, mine is the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about that with the weather's changing. You can't smoke in public housing.
Unfortunately,
right.
yes.
Usually in the morning, I just get up and bundle up and go out for a walk and have my smoke. And go,
And do you have coffee with it? Do you
No,
like it?
I'm a Pepsi drinker.
You have Pepsi in the morning?
Yes.
Really?
I love my Pepsi.
Not Coca-Cola?
No, yucky.
You don't like... Is there that big a difference between the two?
Yes, you got to try them.
Yeah, well, I mean, every once in a while I have a Coke or a Pepsi.
Well, that was beautiful between my sister and I. My sister drank Coca-Cola for so many, many years.
Yeah.
And then we were away together, and I had bought her a Pepsi. This isn't my Coca-Cola, and she tried it, and she fell in love with it. And
Is
to
that
this day,
right? Is
she's
that
still
right?
drinking the Pepsi. So I love it.
Well, you should write that in a letter to Coca-Cola, and maybe they'll send you... Well, not Coca-Cola.
Pepsi, right? They owe me a case.
Now, what is it about cigarettes that you like? I mean, because, for example, the pleasure we get from